Ups and downs and anything. Keep going, my nigga. It's better day. I damn near had to sacrifice everything. Keep going, my nigga. It's better day.
It's your boy Mellow TMG Rise and Fallers. Week 39, segment 39, depending how you're taking us in, whether that be the YouTube. If it is the YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. If it's the Instagram, and maybe you're catching a snippet on the Twitter, make sure you follow us up. You know, but the TMG boys are just trying to make it. But yeah, Rise and Fallers is where we simply take stock of our athletes over the previous week. See who's been rising in stock and see who's been subsequently falling in stock. With no further ado, let's get started. The first rise of the week is David Benavidez. The Mexican-American boxer. Boxes in the super middleweight division. That's the 160-pound division. He is an animal. He is animalistic. He is relentless. He's just a guy who has power in both hands. He TKO'd Chiron, the guy who was fighting Chiron, I believe it's Davis. He TKO'd Chiron Davis in the 7th round. The guy never been stopped before. He moves now up to 25-0, 22 KOs. Like I said, he carries power in both hands. He doesn't stop, punches to body and head. He just keeps coming forward. And wow, he's a problem. He has a lot of potential because the boy's still young. The boy's like 24, 25. And he has a long way to go in this sport. Me personally, I don't want to see him fight Canelo next because he's not ready at all. And not just to protect his record or anything like that. He's just not ready. And I'm tired of seeing Canelo fight these guys who are actually not ready to fight him. I mean, Canelo has such a wealth of experience. Even though these guys are talented, they don't have the same experience of fighting top-level, elite, world-level championship fighters. Like I said before, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, those three guys should have fought each other. And Daniel Jacobs as well. They should have fought Daniel Jacobs as well. They should have fought Daniel Jacobs and those three guys. So those guys should have had 3-4 fights amongst each other. And if one of them stayed undefeated between the lot of them, he goes to fight Canelo. And that person would have given Canelo a better run for his money. If they didn't, then, I don't know, the person who had the belt and was right at the time to fight Canelo would have fought Canelo. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, his best win is probably an anti-Durant, but it was a 35-year-old anti-Durant. So even though anti-Durant had that magnificent knockout a couple of weeks back, but again, that was against a nobody. So I don't want David Benavidez to fight Canelo just yet. I mean, Canelo's still young enough. You're young, very young. Give it 18 months to 2 years. Get another 2-3 fights within you. Fight elite competition, and then you go again. I mean, he could fight, like I said, the likes of Billy Joe Saunders if he was to return. Callum Smith is now in the division. Could fight Callum Smith. Could fight Caleb Plant. Could fight Zach Parker, undefeated in UK. You could fight Daniel Jacobs. Fight those guys. If you happen to go through all of them, then we know you're the guy that can take Canelo and potentially beat him if that's the way it turns out. Okay, from boxing, we go to basketball. That is easy money sniper. Cash money, no other than KD. The best player in the world, in my opinion, at this point in time. The best scorer in the world, in my opinion, at this point in time. The boy is shooting damn near 60% from the field. The field, not the free throw line, like Ben Simmons and what LeBron's doing these days in Westbrook. And not Ben Simmons. Not Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. In the regular season, Ben Simmons 60%. In the playoff, he shoots like damn near 40%. And not like how Lonzo used to do. More Lonzo and Ben Simmons layup because, I keep my Lonzo stuck. I'm a smart man. But he's the best player in the world. During that period, his team went 4-1. He's averaging in that week 32, 8 and 5. He's just automatic. He's a real shooting for MVP honors. Him and Steph, ironic former teammates, MVP honors. Still in their primes. They play together, but that's none of my business. But KD, yeah, he's just a phenomenal player. Phenomenal. I mean, it's unfortunate for him. His players were injured last season, that being Kyrie, and obviously Kyrie couldn't play after game 2, and Harden was injured. Basically, he missed most of game 1, game 2, and I think he missed game 3 and returned in game 4. If you had one of those guys, they would have beat the Bucks, in my opinion, as much as I love Giannis. But, that's how the chips fell, and you got to deal with them. I mean, LeBron's had stuff to deal with to that effect, so you. But yeah, KD, we'll see what he can do this season. Hopefully they can get a deep run in the playoffs. And hopefully, if for his sake, he can get revenge on Giannis, but Giannis has improved. But yeah, from KD, from basketball, we go to football. That is Dušan Tadić, the former Southampton baller, left-footed extraordinaire. His left foot is a wand. His brain is at a different level. And he's playing big. He's playing big. He's playing bold. He, like I said, left the Prem kind of through the back door to Ajax. And he's kind of found his, not kind of, he has found his home with the Amsterdam club. And against Portugal, he outplayed, arguably the greatest player of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo, to send Serbia automatically to World Cup 2022 Qatar, or Qatar 2022 rather. He inflicted the first defeat to Portugal in that run-in. They were both tied on 17 points. And I believe the goal difference favoured Serbia. I'm not Serbia, Portugal. I have to double check on that one, actually. Let me just do my quick Googles. Sorry, the goal difference favoured Portugal. So they had to win. And they did. They won 2-1. They finished with 20 points at 24. So a record of 6 wins and 2 draws. Undefeated. And he scored and assisted en route to the 2-1 victory. Boy, he was a big difference. Big game players. So big games and big game players. And, he just took it to a new level for his club and country. So shout out to Dušan Tadić. And now, keeping with football, but to the fullers, we go to Aminata Diallo. Scandal. She was accused of sending goons, masked men, to assault her teammate Chiara Hamraoui. Probably butchering her name, but it is what it is. And, going by reports, the violent attack on fellow midfielder Hamraoui, who required several stitches to her legs, hands, as well, after being ambushed by a masked man and hit with an iron bar. Crazy scenes. She suffered significant leg injuries in the attack and required stitches to her legs and hands, like I touched on, and is yet to be fit enough to resume training. PSG have subsequently reportedly increased security for Hamraoui and Diallo since the attack, which occurred when Hamraoui was a passenger in the car Diallo was driving. The initial reports were saying that, Diallo was jealous and of Hamraoui was playing time because they're both midfielders, playing time for PSG and the country, so she wanted to do a dirty, injure her in order to eliminate the competition. However, Diallo and Hamraoui are said to be long-term standing friends. They've been on holidays together as part of a group of friends and players, including a trip to Dubai last winter. Both have played for the national team, so something's rotten in Denmark, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's impossible, but something's rotten in Denmark when people were saying initially that Diallo was the one that flipping orchestrated this attack. I mean, yeah, she spent a day in police custody. She's since been released. Obviously, the media don't really want to report that, but I will report that. Diallo denies any wrongdoing as she was held in police custody for a day, like I said. So, only a day. So, hopefully, she can come out of this and be fully exonerated and vindicated. But, her reputation, at least for the initial parts, taking a hit for this. Keeping in football. From France, we go to England. So, we go to Harry Maguire. He attempted to silence his critics with goals over Albania and San Marino. Not the stiffest of competition, to put it lightly, or politely rather. But only he went on to amplify them further. One being the great man Roy Keane, when tried to do to his ears, fingers to his ears, saying, "Can you hear me? Can you see me? I can't hear you." Whatever he's trying to say after he scored his goal against Albania. There were 2 solid headers in his defence, but we know you're capable of scoring goals. And the criticism has been about your defensive nous and abilities for United, not for England. For England, when you play through the back, we have Kyle Walker there as the ultimate insurance policy. As a great Teddy Atlas says, he's the great eraser. You make mistakes, Kyle Walker's there with his speed, tenacity, strength, ability to defend one-on-one. He's there to erase all your mistakes. And we have 2 solid DMs in front of you, where it would be a section of Henderson, Phillips, and Rice. They're going to be solidified. And we have a manager in Southgate that plays in a cautious philosophy. They're going to be protected. And so you're going to look good. But now Roy Keane's on his arse. But what I would say about Harry Maguire. Now listen to me carefully. I'm not saying Harry Maguire is as good as this player will ever be. Because ability-wise, I think there's a massive gap. Well, but there's a big gap for sure. However, one player was put in the right system and played the right style of football for him to be as good as he could have been as a defender. And that player is, I'll let you guess, I'll give you 5 seconds. He's retired now, but he's one of the greatest Premier League defenders of all time. That defender is John Terry. Now, I told you, I'm not saying Harry Maguire is as good a defender as John Terry. Even if he was consistently in the protected system we've seen for England, I don't think he would have reached those levels. I may have been wrong, but we'll see. But that's all hypothetical. However, if United are going to spend 80 million on this defender, you should know his strengths and weaknesses. You should know the guy is slow. And John Terry was a slow defender. Not as slow as Harry Maguire, but he was a slow defender. And so, if you're going to be playing attacking football, high lines, so you're going to block space behind, teams are going to figure that out. Imagine John Terry had to deal with the likes of Thierry Henry week in, week out, or not just Thierry, but the quick forwards week in, week out, one-on-one at the halfway line. So you wouldn't think John Terry you wouldn't hold John Terry in as high regard as we do now. Harry Maguire is in that similar sort of situation. United, they're not playing to his strengths, they're not playing to his style. Like I said, with Chelsea, John Terry had Paulo Ferreira, a defensive fullback, Ashley Cole, arguably one of the best left backs of all time, not just era, all time. He could do both forwards and backwards. Had William Gallas as well, so at times playing left back. He's a centre back. You had Carvalho, another great defender next to him. You had 1 or 2 DMs, whether it be Ballack, whether it be Makaleli, Essien. You had manager Jose Mourinho, one of the best defensive managers there's ever been. So you were solidified, and you're a great leader. You don't make the mistakes that Harry Maguire makes in terms of going for the same ball with Luke Shaw. Like my boy Josh said, it seems like they don't speak the same language, but they're both English. Maybe one guy speaking Northern English or another guy speaking Southern English. I don't know. Maybe the accent's a bit too deep or thick for one of them to understand, but they're just making mistakes that John Terry wouldn't make. But that's just food for thought. United need to have a system that benefits him. Yes, you would like to think if I'm spending 80 million on a player, I wouldn't need said system to benefit him, but that's just life. I mean, I'm going to use another comparison, or I'm going to use another example to draw similarities and to further exaggerate my point. Lionel Messi, by most accounts, the greatest player of all time. Is incorrect, but sorry, he has a strong case. Arguably the greatest player of all time. I understand that now, especially after his win with Argentina. However, if you played Lionel Messi in a team that played long ball all day, every day, like Sam Allardyce's Bolton or Tony Pulis's Stoke, where they knew he was on ball on the ground as the best player arguably of all time, but he was going to lump it into the box, be like, yo, deal with this, lump it into the box, feeding off scraps, go win the head against 6'5" English physical defenders. Lionel Messi will be nowhere near the GOAT conversation. He would still have been a great player because he's just that good. And when the scraps came, he would have turned piss into wine type of thing. However, we would not think about him the same way. Style, fit, matters. Okay, so from football, we finally go to basketball to close out. That's going to go to Markieff Morris. I believe he's the Morris Senior. He got into a little scuffle against Nikola Jokic. He pushed him. Late game foul. The game was lost. I believe on purpose. He's a goon type guy, and he gets away with it a lot of the time. But I gave it to him. Could have been to Jokic as well for retaliation, but I gave it to him because he's a flat track bully, and his record speaks to that. Is a testament to that. But this time he got his comeuppance, and someone finally fired back, and that someone has the backing of brothers too. So if they take it off the court, it's necessary. If they take it off the court, if necessary, they can deal with that. I mean, these guys, they don't come from the hoods of America. They come from war-torn, I believe it's Serbia. So they're used to hearing bombs and alarms going off and kids screaming, fighting for their lives. This ain't shit to them at all. But also as well, Morris has been injured ever since this happened. So yeah, Morris has been injured since. It's crazy. But it's your boy TMG Mello. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on all socials. That be Instagram, the Twitter. Make sure you listen to our podcast audibly. That be Apple Podcasts. That'd also be Spotify. What that Spotify do. And yeah, it's your boy Mello. I'm out.